Keith Fields has been around magic for a very long time, as long as I can remember. I found out the other day that he was born in the Caribbean. He's lost 10. He's brought up in England and is now living permanently in the USA. I had the pleasure of meeting Keith last year when I was when I attended the Abbott's Convention in Colon, Michigan. And straight away, I realised that we really should bring him back to the UK. So we've had to drag him back, but he's here anyway. He is a diverse performer with the ability to play to any audience. And last night he proved what a true professional he is. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back an alien of extraordinary ability, Keith Fields.
Thank you so much. What a pleasure it is to be here. Actually, what I've done in this lecture, I've got about sort of 50 minutes or so to get through quite a lot of stuff, and to make it more interesting, I've combined 2 lectures together to get as much stuff over with you. Is that okay? So we're going to crack on with the first lecture, which is called Card Tricks I Know and Love. And now the second lecture. The second lecture, actually, I'd like to talk very briefly about the history of magic, ladies and gentlemen, the history of magic over the last 3,000 years. The history of the magic over the last 3,000 years. 3,000 years ago, if you go back in history, magic and magicians, we were the people that had power. We had the ear of the king. Did you know this? We were virtually in charge of everything. If you go back to Egyptian times, it was the magicians that told the pharaohs what to do. If you jump forward a few thousand years, they were busy burning us at the stake. If you jump forward to sort of the beginning of the 1900s, magicians were the acts and the performers that were all at the top of the tree in the West End and in theatres, in variety theatres around the country. You jump forward a little bit further, we all end up as children's entertainers. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. But the truth is, there's power in what we do. There's power to spread love. There's power to spread happiness. There's power to spread fun. And that's what this is all about. I started out as a children's entertainer, and I'm still very proud of that fact. I meet a lot of people that when you say, well, you know, what do you do as an entertainer? They go, oh, I'm a magician. I do close-up. I do this. I do that. And I do children's shows. And I'm going, hang it all. We should be really proud because kids are where it all starts. And if we can invest in our children, and wait for it, if we can invest in our children and get them excited about magic, and then show them that actually magic is, as they grow up, we take magic with them and we let it grow up with them, and we show them that it's an art form that they should enjoy. Because I think magic can actually teach us some wonder. You know, it teaches us that the world, there's something more in the world than just the boring humdrum lives that so many of us end up getting tied up in, and bills and all that stuff. So I like to inject a lot of fun in what I do, and I'm going to start off doing something which is sort of straight from that area of what I do. So we'll give it a try. Let's find out what kind of an audience we have. I love it. I love it. See, an English audience do that. You go to American, you go, and they go, what? That's all you get. Anyway, picture. Did you get a good one? Yeah, that would be £5. I'm an ex-street entertainer. I can't fail. Come on, Oscar. There's one for you. There we go. Let's see what we've got. I'm looking for people who look as if they can walk. It's not as easy as it seems. There we go. There's one for you. You're trying to ignore me, so you're going to get one. Oh yes, you're going to get one, of course. There's one for you. Let's have who else do we have? Who should we have? I love it. When you walk out and you're giving things out, all of a sudden people start looking at their shoes going, oh, they're the ones I put on this morning, as if they've forgotten. Here we go. There's one for you, sir. And there's one for you. And someone else over here. Yes, go on, sunshine, you can have it. Okay, if you've got a wooden spoon, come down and join me on the stage. Ladies and gentlemen, give these volunteers a huge round of applause. Obviously, since I've been in America, the word huge has changed its meaning. Nice line, just a straight line across there, if you wouldn't mind. Okay, come on, down this end, if you wouldn't mind. You stay about there. Oh, go on, just down there. Just down this end. Oh, yeah, just in here. Yeah, just in, anywhere. That's it, yeah. Yes, kill my volunteers, why don't you? That'll be fine. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, these people are going to play the world-famous human xylophone. We've got together, and I practiced this for hours beforehand, so it should be great. Well, who knows? Okay, this is how it works. This is how it works. You hold the handle in your left hand. You hold the wooden spoon in the right hand. When I tap you on the shoulder, you strike the bell firmly, but not too hard, in the centre, thusly. On the count of 3 all together. 1, 2, 3. That's good, that's good, that's good. Okay, now you only do that when I tap you on the shoulder. Now, can you shuffle down that way just a little bit? Usually I do this with children, so can you all kneel down? No, you don't need to, you're fine where you are. Yeah, seriously, yeah, kneel. That's it, just makes my life easier. So, this is how it works. When I tap you on the shoulder, oh, sorry, sir, I shouldn't have made you do that. Yeah, we've got a crane. We might need help getting this one up. When I tap you on the shoulder, all you have to do is ding your dong. Don't get carried away. Okay, here we go. Let's have a quick try. Here we go. Beautiful. Lovely. Good. Oh, hang on a second. What happened there? Do yours again. Nice. Do yours. Lovely. Do yours. There's always one, isn't there, lady? It seems that your ding is donking. Let's have a quick, hang on a second. We got a problem. There we go. Sorry about that. You had a blockage. Try again. Try again. Try again. Lovely. Lovely. Okay. Do yours. Good. 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 Now, that's perfect. The only problem is you're out of tune at the moment. So I need you to get in tune, which means the long ones down that end and the short ones, no offence, sir, at this end. So if you could just shuffle yourselves around, quick as you can. You have 10 seconds. Long ones down. Just get down there. You're at the end. You're at the end. You're at the end. Okay, just... come on. Are you right? Are you high? Where do we... we'll sort it out this way. Stay standing, so we'll manage. Okay, here we go. Let's give it a try. We'll just a quick test. No, not till I tap you on the shoulder. That's cheating. Here we go. No, you're back here, so you're back here. Let's try you in here. Let's try again. Yes, we're in tune, ladies and gentlemen. That's a good start. I need to take yours away for a musical reason that will become clear in a few moments. And I need to swap you for this one over here. So if you could take that. Good. Now, I have a question. Very difficult question. We are going to make beautiful music-ish. But I just need to know, is there anyone in this room who has a birthday this year? 2. This month? Anyone got a birthday this month? When's yours? Second? Third. You win. Yes, this is for you, sir. Your name? Dennis. We are going to play Happy Birthday to Dennis. Ladies and gentlemen, when I tap you on the shoulder, ding your dong. If I tap you twice, do it twice. I'm not expecting you to do it more than that in one show. Relax. Okay, here we go. Let's see what happens. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, come on, give it up big time for the marvellous human xylophonologists. Keep the applause going as they make their way back to their seats. Let's hear it for them. Thank you very much indeed, you fine people. Thank you, sweetie. Thank you. Thank you. Just got to put this back in the box. Oh, a second. There we go. That's sit down. One of my favourite routines from my children's stuff. That's a very versatile routine. Just point out, I haven't done any magic yet. But you all seem to be enjoying yourselves. There's a lesson to us all in that, I think. Work it out for yourself. A lot of people come up to me and they say, it's one of the routines I sell. It's also in the lecture notes, so you can make it yourself. It's really not difficult. You just need to cut up tubes and buy wooden spoons and stuff. Or you can buy it, it's easier. But it's a brilliant routine on so many different levels. Apart from just being fun, I never do a family show without it. And by family show, I don't mean a birthday party show, I mean like where there's mixed adults and kids. It's brilliant, because you get a couple of adults up and a few kids. It's an absolute riot. There's a lot of other versions of it. Oh. I work too hard. Is there a medic in the house? I think my heart's going. There are different things you can do with it. You can turn it into a magic trick if you really want to. And I did, to start off with, I did a thing called the Psychic Human Xylophone, where I had cards chosen which had songs on, and we psychically picked up the songs. You can do it if you want to. I don't think it's really a good idea. The two best ideas I have with it is that, just as that, and I do that in school assemblies, family shows, everything, that sort of thing. It's a great school assembly piece, teamwork. Teamwork. You can see that teamwork lesson in there, can't you? Getting all the kids to work together, and when they work together, we can make beautiful-ish music. And you can do that with a load of kids. So that's a very valuable one. And the other routine I do with it is if I've got a party, a mixed party of adults, and I want something which is going to be just a lot of fun, we play a game of Name That Tune. When I get 8 adults up and I pit the audience, guys against girls, and we do a Name That Tune competition. I know it's not magic, but it's a lot of fun, and sometimes that's more important. Okay. All right, quick reset, and let's do something else. I need to borrow some money off someone. Good, he's not here. We'll choose someone else. Has anyone got a £5 note? Any note at all will do. Someone who can come on stage who's got some money. Anyone reaching into their wallets? You're always reaching into his wallet here, so what have you got? Have you got some folding stuff? What have you got there? 20. Bring it up, sir, bring it up. I love a challenge. Give this man a huge round of applause. This is what I like to see. Thank you so much. Thank you. Come and stand over here, if you don't mind. That's good. Smile at the camera, pretend you're on television. Perfect. Now, what is your name, sir?
Andrew.
Andrew, thank you very much for coming out. We haven't set anything up or anything, have we? So that's your $20 bill. I've never seen it before. No, we're going to mark the $20 bill so we know that's yours and that's an original. If you could just write your name across it with the magic. You're all right there, sir? Recovering, fantastic. We mop and bucket? No, we're good. Okay, well, just put that on. I've got another one over here. Don't worry, it'll be fine. All right. Sorry, yeah, obviously it is. Oh, that one only explodes when you take the top off. No, it doesn't. Rats. Okay, if you could write your name across the $20 bill, sir. That way we'll know there's only one $20 bill in the world that looks like that. Have you done it? I'll take the pen back. That's the expensive part of the trick. Thank you, Andrew. Good. It's 11:30 in the morning. I deserve some fun. Give me a break. Now this is important. Sir. We're going to need to fold that into a little thing. There's Andrew's name written across the $20 bill. Now, if you remember that, should you ever see this $20 bill again? When you see this £20 note again, sorry, I keep forgetting which country I'm in. American and English are totally different. Did you know that? You know, in America, they don't call these things trousers. You know what they call them? Pants, yeah. And you know those things, the braces, you know what they call them? Suspenders. Imagine what happened when I was invited to a party in America and someone said, it's a casual affair, just wear pants and suspenders, you'll be fine. I was a hit, I'll tell you, I was a hit. Are you left-handed or right-handed, sir? Okay, finger and thumb, right hand. If you can hold it up a little bit higher, that would be perfect. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to take your $20 bill, and if you don't mind, I'm going to ask you to shake on the $20 bill some magic salt. So take the magic salt shaker, shake some magic salt on top of the $20 bill. Is anything coming out, sir? Okay. That's because it's magic salt, doesn't really exist, but play along. Anything coming out, sir?
No, except magic salt.
I think we've got a believer. That's kind of scary. Okay, I've also got here a perfectly normal devil's hanky. Now, what I want you to do is we're going to take your $20 bill and we're going to wrap it up inside the... Hold on. He's going, there it is, there it is. Oh, I love my life. Okay, if you could drop it down there inside the secret compartment, that's perfect. And if you could just feel it there and take, don't let go, that's good, don't let go. Okay, if you could shake a bit of salt on top. Is that enough?
A bit more.
All right, okay, no. Stealing the show now, aren't you? On the count of 3, we are going to make the £20 note totally and absolutely disappear. 1, 2, I lied about 3. Let's move on. No, too late, I don't need pity. Listen, what's happening? I'm not even going to get it either. What's happening? That £20 note is now flying through the air, invisibly. This is a miracle. You are not going to believe this. It's actually landed. See that guy there?
I see him.
with his arms in his lap, with the make me laugh sucker look on his face. That guy
birthday
there,
boy.
yeah.
The birthday boy.
No, the one behind the birthday boy. The one behind the birthday boy. Yes, you, sir. Yeah, you've woken up now, haven't you, with the white jacket? It's landed, believe it or not, in your right-hand jacket pocket. Stand up, sir. Stand up. Stand up. That's why I had to sneak out with the spoons. Stand up. Reach into your right-hand jacket pocket, sir, and answer one question, yes or no. Is there a folded £20 note in that pocket? No. I didn't think there would be. I'm surprised you actually looked. We're in Buxton, sir. It's hardly Vegas. Come on, relax. Give him a round of applause. I'm only teasing. I'm only teasing. But that would have been a great trick. We could have called that trick £20 notes to impossible location. But there's somewhere else even more impossible than that pocket, because that pocket was over there while you were over here. But a few moments ago, you were holding that salt shaker in your left hand while you were holding the £20 note in your right hand. Is that correct, sir? And then you shook some salt on the £20 note. And after that, we put the £20 note in the hanky and made it vanish. Could it be? Could it be? Could it possibly be? That's why we had you sign the note in the first place. Unscrew the salt shaker. I'll give you a clue. The top comes off. Have a look inside. What do you see, sir?
Something folded.
Something folded. That was such an exciting thing to say. Thank you. What does it look like?
It's paper.
It's paper. Even better. Okay, give it a shake here. So I don't even want to touch it because people might think I'm doing some switch or something like that, because you know how suspicious magicians can be. Do you want me to get it out and do the switch? It'll be easier. Okay, there it is, there it is. I'm not touching it. Take out the £20 note, unfold it. If that has got your signature on, hold it up in front of this audience and they will go wild with applause. Let's have a look and see. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we've done it. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you, thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir. I'm an old street entertainer. Thank you so much. It's worth a try. Thank you. Give me a huge round of applause. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you for being a great sport. Give it up for Andrew. I want to talk for a little bit about a couple of things. I have a theory about the performance of magic. This is my current theory. This is as good as it's got. It will keep getting better as I keep talking about it and thinking about it. It's like a mathematical formula. It's this. It's P equals P plus P. Now you know that, you've got the whole lecture in your heads. P equals P plus P. What I mean by that, the first P stands for performance, which is what we're doing. And performance equals two things. It's made up of two things. It's made up of process and personality. What do I mean by those two things? When I'm talking about process, I'm talking about the things you have to do to make the trick work. If we just perform process, if we just do the things we have to do to make the trick work, I believe we are merely presenting a puzzle to the audience. And that is not magic. What we need to do is add the second P, which is the personality, and that's the most important thing. What I try to do with all my routines is I keep the process as simple as possible, which gives me more chance to include as much personality as possible, and I think it's the personality that makes things entertaining. So the big question at the end of the day is, what can we all do to put more personality in our performance and therefore improve the reaction and improve the effect that our performances have on the people we are performing to? Because it is pointless performing magic for ourselves. We could do it in front of a mirror. That's called practice, which is another P, which I may talk about later if I get time. But it's pointless doing it for ourselves. We do magic to give other people an experience. And the real magic, as we all know, more often than not actually happens in the minds of the people. It's their perceptions of what we're doing, and it's what they take away. What we want them to take away is a bit of happiness. What we want them to take away is a bit of awe. We want to change their mental state from where they are here when the trick starts, which is probably questioning and doubtful as to whether they're going to enjoy the experience. And we've all been there. And we want to move them to a point when they go, wow. That was amazing. Wow, that moved me. Wow, that was different. So, what can you actually do to improve your performance? And what I'm going to tell you, the few things I'm going to talk about are true whether you're doing children's shows, whether you're doing close-up shows, whether you're doing street shows, whether you're doing cabaret shows, whether you're performing for a friend down at the bar. All these things are true. Number one, the most important part of any trick, any piece of magic that you perform, is your face. If you actually watch someone while you're doing a trick, they will spend more time, and when you're talking to people, people spend more time looking at your face than anything else. Throughout this whole lecture so far, you've spent more time staring at this than anything else that's happened. the most important thing you should be doing with your face is looking as if you're enjoying what you're doing. Because if you smile more, just smile a bit bigger and smile a bit more during your performance, you will look happier, and other people will pick that up and they will feel happier and they will enjoy the experience more. It's kind of really this, what is happening behind the eyes, what's happening in your mind while you're doing it, people really pick up on. And if you're nervous and actually a bit worried about what you're doing, people will see that in your eyes and they'll pick it up and they'll have the dreaded nervous driver syndrome. Have you ever been in a car when the driver is a bit nervous and you're thinking, oh, what's he going to do next? Is he going to stop at the traffic lights? And you get this, and you think, I'd rather get out and walk. We don't want to have that situation when we're doing a trick for people. And sometimes you have to act. And one of the best ways to act is just put a big smile on your face and people will go, he looks happy, this must be a good situation, let's go along with it. So the first thing, smile more. Second thing that I don't want that you can do very easily is something you can practice. Our face is an incredible, it's got so many muscles, we can pull so many different faces, but most of us don't do it. Most of us, because we don't need to, because we spend all day in an office or in a shop or whatever we do work-wise, we're concentrating, we end up with one face. And we don't use our face as the tool it is. We can put over so many different emotions just by a simple glance. And we need to actually practice those. So guys, when you're shaving, and girls, when you're putting your makeup on, let me finish. When you're putting your makeup on, you're spending time staring in a mirror. That is valuable time that you can use to improve your performance by learning about personality. But you guys, when you shave, if you do it the old-fashioned way, you pull faces. You do that. You can't help it. You have to do, you know, all this kind of stuff. But you should use that 3 or 4 minutes when you're looking in a mirror to practice pulling faces, because those faces will actually sell what you're doing to the audience. Next thing, very quickly, overacting. I have never, ever seen anyone on stage and thought, they're overacting. There's too much. I wish they'd just calm down a little bit. We can all turn up the level of our performance quite a bit. It might not make us feel comfortable to start off with, so start doing it in little increments. But rather than sort of doing something down here, do it up here. Rather than just standing like this, stand like this. Try and make yourself bigger when you're performing. Even if you're performing to one person, you don't want to be the smallest. Even if you imagine you're performing to 2 or 3 people, you don't want to be the smallest, most insignificant person in the group. You want to be the most important person in the group. And to achieve that, all you do is step back a little bit and open up your body language. And you will find just doing a simple thing, rather than going from this position to going to this position, you are suddenly commanding. You are suddenly taking control of the situation. This improves your performance. If you look at how big you can get, all you do as a performer is you get bigger and bigger and bigger, and if you're not careful, you end up as Hobson. Which I think, but has anyone watched Hobson and go, oh, he's overacting a bit? I wish he'd tone it down. It's funny, it's personality. So how do you practice that? How can you do this? And that's the thing I want to encourage you more than anything else. And this is one of the challenges I'm going to give out to you. How can you actually learn to overact? Okay, here's a challenge. Next time you go into a shop or a gas station or anything like that, and there's just you and one other person in there. Now, normally what you do is you go, how much? Here's your money. Bye. No, never ever do that. That is a valuable chance to practice overacting. Go in there and take your $20 out of the $20 there and say, yes, I would like a Twix, please. Take your wallet out and put it on. Thank you very much. I shall take the change and I shall leave. It sounds mad, but listen, it's done 2 or 3 things. Firstly, that person in the store is going to talk about you. You've given them an experience. You haven't done a trick. You've given them an experience that they're going to remember. And those are the little things that will help you. And you've learned a little bit about overacting, and it'll give you a little, you don't have to go totally over the top, but just do something you wouldn't normally do. And just push the barriers a little bit. And it's only by pushing the barriers that we get bigger, we get better, and we start having better performances. And here's the great thing. If we all do this, if every magician just pushed the barriers a little bit, it's good for all of us. Because it pushes the barriers of magic just a little bit. And it makes everyone else more... I mean, how often have we had this situation? Oh, I don't like magic. How often have we had that? Now, the truth of that situation is that person doesn't not like magic, what they mean is I don't like the last magician that I saw. And it probably means the last magician basically was a process magician who just did a puzzle, and they don't like puzzles. Now, if they'd have met someone that did something entertaining with a lot more personality, they probably would go, oh yeah, I have a good feeling about last time I saw some magic, I'd like to see it. So it's good for all of us. So what you're doing is not just good for you, it's good for the whole of the magic community. Sermon over, let's do some more tricks. Okay, what am I going to do next? Oh yes, I almost forgot this. Mind reading, very popular nowadays, so I thought I'd give that a go. Hello, sir. Actually, you're going to look after my bookmark if you don't mind. Do you mind just drop it on the floor and put your foot on it? I'll just check the page number so I remember it. I'm going to ask a number of people to remember some page numbers. Hello, sir. Can you read without glasses? That's brilliant, because the light's a bit dim in here and I don't want mistakes to happen. So I'm going to run through like this, and you just shout stop anytime you want to.
Stop.
Okay, that's fantastic. Have a look at that number and remember it.
Yep.
Have you got it firmly emblazoned on your mind? Repeat it over and over and over to yourself, because if you forget it, I have to hurt you. You got it? Good, fantastic. There's number one. Can you stand up for me, if you wouldn't mind, sir? I'll come over here. I'll pick a lady with glasses on, because then I know you can read. Just say stop anytime you want to. Okay, that's good. Have a look at that number there. I lined out with the bifocals. Good, have you got it as well, sir? Okay, just repeat it over and over to yourself. You've got it. Okay, fantastic. That's two. We'll have number three. Hello, my dear, you can do this. Fantastic. Just say stop anytime you want to. Oh, that was very quick. Okay, have a look at that number there. You've got it. Okay, can you stand up if you don't mind? Lady here, do you mind standing up for a moment? Thank you very much indeed. And I need a guy. You, sir, if you don't mind, I'll just run through like this. So stop. Oh, that was incredibly quick. Now, you can stop there, or I can carry on a couple more pages. It's entirely up to you. You want to stop there? You do realise, for the rest of your life, you'll wonder what would have happened if you'd gone on a couple of extra pages. Last chance. You want to stop there? Fear of...
Yes.
Yeah, very good. I like. Give him a round of applause. Overacting. Someone was listening. Brilliant. Have a look at that number there. Remember it. Have you got it, sir? Fantastic. Stand up. So we've got 4 people standing up. What I want you to do is repeat those numbers over and over and over to yourself. Perfect. Thank you very much indeed. Lovely. Good. I get nothing. It's going to be fine. I'm going to name 4 numbers. If I name your number, what I want you to do is just sit down. It's very, very simple. Let me see. I've got number 40. Perfect. Number 53. Thank you. Number 104. Lovely. And number 142. Thank you very much indeed, ladies and gentlemen. Yes. Thank you. 142. What's the matter, sir? You stopped and didn't go on. I did say you might have screwed up the trick, didn't I? I took a man who went, yes! My fault. Was I close?
Yeah.
Good enough for me. Hold on a second. Did I get yours right, sir?
Yes.
Spot on.
Yes.
Fantastic. Did I get yours right, madam? Spot on. Did I get yours right? Spot on. 3 out of 4. It's probably your mistake. You should admit when you're wrong, sir. It's my trick. I also wrote a book called How to Handle Hecklers. You're obviously not aware of that. Because the last thing you want for the next half hour is my total and undivided attention. I was close, yeah? How far out was I? 5. Yeah, so if I'd have gone on a couple of pages like I suggested, we would have hit it bang on. Yeah, but no, you had to stay where you wanted to stay. Sorry. Just like to point out that you are responsible for the rather uncomfortable feeling in the room at the moment. Actually, I gave you a bookmark at the beginning. Can you pick up the bookmark for me? Can you unwrap the bookmark? Can you stand up? Can you turn to the audience and read out in a loud, clear voice the words emblazoned in fire across that page?
I will be off by 5.
Hey? I think you can sit down now. Thank you very much indeed. Okay, this is I use this trick a lot in a number of different ways. That's what you've just seen is one of my favourite ways of using it, and the reason I think this is great for when you're on stage is it gives you a chance to get off stage and go into the audience and actually maybe do a bit of banter with people, so it's a lot of fun for that. The method is very, very simple. There are only 4 numbers in the book. As if I'm going to make it hard for myself, you know. The first half of the book has got page 40 and 53 on every page. That's all it is. And the second half of the book has got page 104 and page 147 on every page. So all I do is when I go to the first person, I start sort of riffling through from roughly the middle of the book, and when they say stop, the first person gets the page on that side, the second person gets the page on that side. For the third and fourth people, I start riffling from the very back of the book, and the person gets the page there and the page there. The only thing you have to remember when you're riffling from the back of the book is don't keep talking when you start riffling, and you will never get past the center point. If you keep, do you know about this? When you're doing any sort of stop force or anything like that, you have to, as soon as you start what you're doing, you have to shut up, because that puts the pressure on them to say stop. See how uncomfortable this feels? Okay, I'm going to riffle through the book and just say stop anytime you want to. Stop. Okay, now don't say stop. Just don't say stop at all. Just see how uncomfortable this feels. Just say stop anytime you want to. You almost can't do it. It feels uncomfortable. Now, if I do it the other way and I keep talking, so I'm going to riffle through the book like this, and any time you want to, just interrupt me and say stop, so we'll stop at exactly the place you want to stop, okay? Now, don't, you see how you don't say stop at that point because I'm talking? You're going to have to interrupt me. We're programmed not to interrupt. So that silence, very, very powerful tool in a moment like that. So you will never go past the middle page. Just to make it absolutely sure, what I actually do is I fold the middle page down so I can look on the top of the book and I can see exactly where I am at any given time. Now, here's the next thing. Some of you will only perform occasionally. I'm very aware of that. And if you only perform occasionally, it's kind of difficult because you have to relearn the 4 force numbers every time you perform this trick. And I am, as a performer, the type of person that can be on stage and forget something very important and very significant, like 4 numbers that I have chosen. 4 numbers that I have chosen for very good reasons because they all meant something to me. Like the number 40, because I was 40 when I came up with this book trick. Unfortunately, I was 41 the next year, and that screwed me up completely. So this is a true story. I was emceeing a big charity show in London many, many years ago. One of the guys on the show was a comedian, which probably most of you have heard of, a guy named Bill Bailey. Have you seen Bill Bailey? And I could see Bill Bailey. He was over there, just the other side of the curtain, and I just totally, and I'd worked with him for years. I've known this guy for, probably at the time, I'd known him for maybe 10, 15 years. I was looking at him, I just totally blanked. I could not remember his name. And it was like, I was emceeing, I had to introduce him, and I did what every MC does at a time like that. I got to the point of going, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the next act. And it just went, bing. And I went, I'll tell you what, we'll do something different. What we'll do is we'll start the applause going, and as I raise my hands like this, we'll build the applause to a crescendo, and when the applause is at its absolute peak, I shall say his name, he shall come on and amaze you all. And I raised my hands, and the audience clapped and got louder and louder and louder, and when they were clapping so loudly that they couldn't hear a word I was going to say, I said, please welcome, blah, 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 blah. Bill Bailey walked on. I shook him by the hand, and he went, it's Bill Bailey, you prat. My point is this: anyone can remember 4 numbers when it's calm and you've got nothing to think about. But then, in a moment of pressure, you can forget. So what I did to make this really, really easy is I put the 4 numbers across the front of the book. Yeah. So when you're going through it, you're picking number 40, you're picking number 53, you're picking number 144, you're picking 147, and you're doing number 40, you're doing number 53. So it's all there for you, basically, makes it really easy. But this is my favouriteest thing to do with this book. I put it on the bookshelf at home, in my dining room, and I leave it there. Not forever. I leave it there till someone comes round and they happen to have a book that they're reading. And friends come round our house occasionally. We got friends, don't judge. And if someone has a book, I pick up their book and I flick through and I go, oh, is this any good? I haven't read this one. And as they're telling me about the book, I turn to page 40 and read the top line. Close it up, put it back, forget about it. 5, 10 minutes later, I say, can we try a little experiment? And I take this book down off the bookshelf and I just go, say stop anytime you want to. Stop. Okay, look, don't tell me what it is, but look at that page number. It's number 40. And I go, take your book and look at that page number in your book. And you can do the most amazing mind-reading thing, which will absolutely fry them. And here's the best bit. You take your book, You just put it back on the bookshelf amongst all the other books, and you've hidden the evidence. They're never going to find it. It's absolutely brilliant. Unless you've got friends like me who are avid readers, and they're going through all my books going, which ones haven't you? Oh, I haven't read that one. Let's see what this one's any good. That ain't going to happen. But that's called running the numbers. Any questions on that? Oh, thank you very much indeed. There we go. I haven't really stopped for any questions at any point so far, because I get into such... I'm just one of these people. I love what I do. I love magic, and I love sharing my stuff. I've covered a lot of stuff already. We've got another sort of about 15 minutes, so I can get another couple of things. But is there any other questions that have come up so far, or anyone wants to ask me anything about anything? If there is, please stick your hand up now, because I might have forgotten something. You're happy? Oh, there was a question. Yes, sir.
Why do you, on the last one, get it 5 hours?
You could do that. You could do that. That would be what I would call an alternative ending, and it may be better. It's definitely different. I choose to do the bookmark thing because I like that moment in the end of getting it wrong. Because that moment at the end of getting it wrong, it changes the whole atmosphere in the room. Because everything's been going right, everything's been going working, and everything's been really funny, and it's like, ooh, what happened then? And it gathers interest, it heightens the interest. And also, it gives me a chance to do a whole load of gags about blaming him for getting it wrong, accusing him for needing new glasses, the lights are bad, it's probably your fault. There's loads of directions I could go in that. And that was my sort of thing, was I'm off by 5, seemed to be the thing that just felt right for me. And I thought it was kind of a bit clever to go, I'm off by 5, you know. But that's why I chose that. But you could quite easily put, yes, you know, please place this bookmark back at page 147. I think that's a different way of doing it, and I will probably, with your permission, stick it in the notes next time I reprint it as an alternative, because it's very good. A round of applause. It's an alternative. That's good. Which neatly brings me on to something I was going to say next, actually. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to show you a trick which is kind of fun. It's kind of okay, but I'm showing you this trick for a reason. And oh, good, we're on here. I'm not sure. Can you see that very easily? Yeah, that's reasonably clear. You don't have to zoom in really close because I will move, because I'm not good at staying still. This is I travel a great deal, and these are dollar cards because this is what we spend in America. We spend dollar cards. They're easier to spend in America. They don't like pounds over there. I've got $3. There's $1 on the bottom, there's $1 on the top, and there's also $1 here in the middle. But because I'm in England at the moment, all I do is press the button on the back there, you see, and they turn into pound cards. So now I've got £1 on the bottom there, see there's £1 on the top, and there's £1 in the middle. And I can just go anywhere I want to with this. I can press the button again and change it back into dollars, and then I can take $1 and spend $1. And I can actually go to another country. Sir, give me another currency, any currency you like. Euro. Yeah, I've got euros on there. I've got euros, I've got rubles, I've got virtually everything you want. But I've also got credit cards just in case. You see, I cover all emergencies. Now, it's a very simple little trick. Any of you who recognise that handling, it's actually based on the Color Monte handling. Very simple. The cards are stripped, so it's very, very easy to do. And there's actually there's a sort of circular set of moves that happens here. Let me show you this again. Are we on the camera again? So we've got the 4 cards, which are in this setup at the moment. I'm hoping you can see these. And they are stripped in such a way that if I take them there and there, what will happen? The top and bottom card will separate, and the 2 middle cards will stay in the middle. The 2 middle cards, which are the gag cards, stay together. And the basic handling, like this, if you take one of those gag cards away, is virtually identical to the handling of Color Monte with the stripped cards, which probably most of you are aware of. If not, it's a great trick and you should look it up. So this is what happens. You show the bottom card, you then do this move here, which actually strips off those 2, and you show the top card, which is actually the bottom card. Now this is something you can't do in Color Monte. Because I've got 4 cards, I can separate that to signal. So it just emphasises the fact that I've only got 3 cards here. And then I have to show the middle card. Well, actually the card I'm showing is card 2 out of the 4. But I want you to think it's the middle card. So I take 1 card off and I flip over the second card, which shows you the card in the middle, okay? Now that shows us the 3 cards as £1. I've now got the 2 money cards in my left hand and the 2 gag cards in my right hand. I place the 2 gag cards in the centre, And I'm now ready and set to do exactly the same sequence of moves, only I will show three, in this case, $3 cards. $1 on the bottom, $1 on the top, and $1 in the middle. Okay? Now you can keep doing that sequence, rotating it over and over again. It goes from pound, there we go, to dollar. You can keep doing that as many times as you want to. I suggest one change is enough. Remembering what I said about process not being as entertaining as personality. Good. The last bit, the finale to reveal the gag cards, I say if I want to take $1 away, I spend $1. And what I'm doing is I'm stripping, again, I'm stripping the two cards, the top and bottom card off. So I'm removing two cards. So I'm removing the two currency cards, the pound card and the dollar card, and that leaves me the two gag cards to reveal at the end. Now that's the process. Here is another challenge that I'd like to give out to you. In this trick, it's a fine trick. Oh, it's all covered in the lecture notes, I should say. Even there's even a page which you can print out in the lecture notes, which gives you these cards. So you then, what I've done is actually I've just printed them out on, rather than very basic paper, I've printed them out on slightly better quality paper, and I've then taken them to an office shop and I've had them laminated. And you'd be surprised, these actually work really well. They're easy to use, as long as you're not really sort of doing really highbrow technical stuff. This is fine for Elmsley counts, or any basic sort of packet trick moves. These work really well. I even actually, I had a set of these which I put through the washing machine. It wasn't an experiment, I'm not that way inclined. I'd left them in my pocket by mistake, shoved the trousers in the washing machine, and they got washed. And they still worked, and I actually went on to use them for 3 or 4 years after that. So they are incredibly hard wearing. So here's the challenge. What we've got here is a process, and of a packet trick, and I want to run through the process with you. The process in this trick is I show 3 of those, I then show 3 of those, I then take 1 card away, and I've got 2 gag cards. Yeah, is that clear? You understand what I mean by the process? Talk to me, I'm not the Pope. Yes? Yes, good, okay, so that's the process. This is the challenge. Think about the process of this, and say, what could I print on the cards which would be different, which would be a totally new story? What I'm talking about here is actually taking a giant creative leap. And rather than just going to a dealer, sorry guys, and buying a trick, which is a good thing to do, I'm not knocking that, it's a good thing to do, but rather than just look at the tricks you've got, look at the processes you've got, because what you can do is you can take your favorite packet trick, you can sit down, you can work out the process of that packet trick, what actually happens in the sort of trick part. You can then, just using a computer and a laminator, you can then create new cards with different pictures rather than playing cards or whatever came with the trick. And you can create a trick which is purely your own. In fact, I'll take this idea one step further. I don't know about you guys, I think that would be a fun club night to actually have in your local magic club. To say, what we're going to do, we're all going to bring along a packet trick. We're all going to sit down and discuss the process so we understand the structure of the packet trick, and then we're going to break into maybe groups and see if we can come up with new things we could do, a new storyline we could do to make it a different trick. With this, I came up with one idea with this whole thing about having, it was all going to be about pictures and photographs, and what I was going to do, I was going to have a piece of film, an undeveloped piece of film on the first one, then I was going to have a negative on the second one, and then on the third one I was going to have a black and white picture, and on the fourth one I was going to have a colour picture, colour photograph. And I thought that would be an interesting, different way of using the same process. And then I realised no one actually knows what film is anymore. So it was a bit pointless. But it's just an idea I wanted to throw out there because I want to encourage our creativity. Because as magicians, we ride on the shoulders of giants. We have a fantastic stock of building blocks that we can use to create new magic. But sometimes we take the easy way out, and all we do is we just use off-the-shelf stuff. And I think maybe if we actually were a little bit more creative, once again, we'd be putting stuff back into the pile, we'd be doing something which is good for us, we'd be doing something which is good for magic, and we'd be making the world a better place in the process. Everybody wins. Good idea? Yeah. Thank you very much indeed. How are we doing? Rapidly running out of time, so I'll have a quick cup of coffee, quick sip of my coffee if I may. A couple of things just to talk about, which I didn't really mention earlier. The magic marker, which I came up with. This is one of my products. I have some of these for sale afterwards. This is my favourite gag of the moment. You saw me use it last night, so you saw the effect it had then. It's a great way of waking up the audience. I actually use this about 3 times in my stage show. When I'm doing the stage show, I repeat the same gag 3 times. I do it twice on people when I have them out of the audience. The 3rd time is I actually go into the audience and I get someone in the audience to sign something, because I know when I do it the 3rd time, some of the people around will have caught on and they will be expecting it, but not everyone. So when it does go off, you know that at least 50% of the people in this situation are going to jump. It's a great gag item. I don't actually think this is a magic trick when it's done like this. I think it's a gag, and that's the way I treat it. It's totally self-contained because the lid of the pen actually holds it down, so you can actually have it in your pocket. You can reach into your pocket and use it at any time you want to. What you have to do in your pocket, all you do is you pull it down and just grip it there and bring it out of your pocket like this, and it's ready to fire. Couple of things you shouldn't do with it. To fire it, you take the lid off. And I always do this thing because I like to bring the moment down. Like I say, it's a magic marker. There's no need to be scared. It's not real magic. But when you give it to someone, what you don't want to do is this. As they reach out to take it, you don't want to go, would you like to take the pen? Oh, that wasn't even what I was trying to do then. But that's one of the things you don't want to do. One of the things you don't want to do is this. You say, here you go, take the magic marker. You know, you don't want to do that. You know, can I have it back, please? I'll go. Don't worry about it. I'm fine. This is if you've never used peering canes, these are plastic canes, but what you actually do is kind of important. You want the cane to go up and down at the same time. The human eye is absolutely fantastic, but if the cane just goes up, your eye, if I do it like this, that's not magical. With the fastest of appearing canes, that's not magical. In fact, I was watching you when that happened, and I watched you all go like this. The eye follows the cane up. The same way, if it goes down, your eye will follow the cane down. So what you have to do is you actually literally let go of it. So for a moment, it's defying gravity. Just for a moment. It won't defy gravity for long. You have to catch it again. So I'm literally letting go and catching it in the middle. So it literally is let go and catch. That way it goes up and it goes down. Your eye tries to follow it up, and your other eye tries to follow it down, and because your eyes can't go like this, it gives up. And you just see the cane appear. So even if you do it properly, even a fairly slower cane looks really magical. But luckily, these canes are really fast, and that's the magic marker. Any questions on that? It's a very simple thing to use. As I say, I think to me, it's a gag. It's like, you remember the Funkin' Rings? It's that sort of a gag, and it's just hours of fun for all the family. It resets in a jiffy, and it's there. And that's that. Because I believe that, where did I put the top? Because I believe that if you have a good idea, you should actually capitalise on it, which was something actually Paul was talking about in his talk yesterday. If you've got an idea, you can do other things with it. It's a magic wand, sir, you see? It's the same gag. Yeah, fine, please yourselves. But that's the same thing. It's a marker. I haven't actually got any of these with me, but they are available on my website if you're interested. Okay, rapidly running out of time here because I have to come in under an hour, so I'm going to attempt to do that with this. Where are we? We're over here. I'm going to need something to put it down on. Look, there we go. Let's do this. Yeah, you can see that. Perfect. We love magic, don't we? Isn't it great? And one of the things I love about magic is the diversity of things. But I also like to go back to the very beginning sometime and look at the stuff we actually started out with. Did you have a magic set when you were younger, sir? You did, yeah. You look like the sort of person that would have had. That's an interesting line, actually. When you say that to magicians, they go, yeah, well, who didn't? If you go to someone, did you have a magic set in a room full of magicians, and the person goes, no, the audience go, oh, that poor person. He must have had such a sad childhood. No magic set. If you do that line for real people, and you go, did you have a magic set when you were younger? He goes, no, because most people didn't. And you go, oh, you look like the sort of guy that would have had. I'm calling him a geek. And everyone else knows it. But But the thing about magic sets is they have magic stuff in them. They have all these little things which do magic. But as a kid, when I had my first magic set, I dived on the magic wand because I thought that was going to be the thing that was going to do the magic. How wrong I was. What I discovered was the thing that did most of the magic were these little pieces of plastic, which they called in the instructions spot paddles. They called them spot paddles. The reason they called them spot paddles, because if you take one and give them a shake like that, a spot appears on the paddle. That's only one, and it was obviously too quick. It got nothing, so I'll do it again. Give it another shake, we get 2 spots. I have this rule about applause, all together or not at all. Not at all, please yourselves. Okay, fantastic. We'll put that one down there. I'll show you again. We'll take this paddle here. If I put it in the dark just for a second, just like every McDonald's worker, a spot appears. English joke, don't worry. You call them zits. Yeah. I'm explaining it for the foreigners down here, the colonials. I only moved there because I'm a tax collector and I'm going to collect, the Queen sent me to collect 250 years of missing back taxes. Yeah, that gets silence from Americans as well. Silence with gritted teeth. You know that thing you guys signed called the Declaration of Independence? The Queen always looks at that as more of a lease. I tried that line on a cruise ship full of Republicans. You can imagine how that went down. I'm surprised I made it home. Okay, one more shake. We've got 2 spots on this paddle here and 2 spots on this paddle. Ladies and gentlemen, how many spots have we got altogether? 4. Just checking you're paying attention. Thank you very much indeed. Have you ever heard the expression spots before your eyes? Have you ever stared at a bright white light, looked away and seen a black spot floating in midair? Yes. Why? You shouldn't do that. It's dangerous. But if you look at these spots here, you will see that just for a second, if you stare at them on the screen, and we got a reasonably good shot at us, very good. Okay, if you stare at them at the screen, you will see that all of a sudden it looks like one of them has jumped over onto the other paddle. But that obviously can't happen. It's so impossible. I'm going to show you again. Watch very closely. If I take the 2 spots, give them a little shake like that, all of a sudden all 4 spots are now on this paddle over here, and there's no spots at all on this paddle over here. Relax, ladies and gentlemen, the fun is only just beginning. I sense the relief. So we've got 4 spots on that one, none on that one. If we take the paddles and give them a little jerk, no offence, if we take the paddles here and give them a little jerk like that, one of them jumps down, but it doesn't like it, he likes to hang out with his friends. In fact, you could do that twice and like that, and they're all there, and then you could do them back like that, and we're back where we started with the 4 spots on that paddle. Am I going too quickly for some of you? Because my favourite bit is when I take one of these spots is going to leap off this paddle, it's going to do a double somersault, and it's going to land on this paddle over here. You're going to see it leave, you're going to see it arrive. Keep one eye on that paddle, one eye on that paddle, and one eye on me. Scrub that last bit, it's not important. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3. There it goes. Up in the air. 1 somersault. 2 somersaults. And back on the paddle. Oh, I missed. Sorry. There it is. Dotty spots, spot paddles, whatever you call them. It's a very, very old trick. It's one of those tricks which just... you know, people used to do bits with it, but I'd never saw anyone do a routine with it, and we worked together with a few people years ago, and we came up with some stuff, various ideas from various different sources. That is a great trick. It's got 13 magical happenings in 90 seconds. And each of those moments, if you're not a magician and you're not expecting it, each of those moments is a little eye-popping moment of magic. And I do that trick for people, and they just walk off smiling, because they've seen something which they just cannot begin to explain. This is something I do with this trick. I occasionally work trade shows. There's not much in this fantastic business that we call show that I haven't done. I've had a very blessed career. I've been a very lucky man. And when I do in trade shows, this is one of the tricks I do for the first sort of couple of people when I've got a very small crowd, because my job at a trade show is to put a crowd. And in case you're wondering how people put a crowd, you never put a crowd. You actually stop one person at a time and you build a crowd. So what you need is tricks which you can do while you're building a crowd. I do this at the very beginning. So I'm doing a trade show. Usually the people who I'm performing to are reasonably intelligent people. You know, they're business executives, they're salespeople, they're people that should in theory have a brain cell or 2 to rub together. I get to the end of this trick and I drop them on the table, and usually at this point there's a couple of people in the distance and they're watching what's going on, because people react when I do this. You get a reaction. So at that point, I step away from the table and I go, we're just getting started, come over and join us, and I draw some more people in. And then I look back at the table. Without fail, every single time, one of those two people will pick up one of the paddles and go like this. Because they think by shaking it, a spot is going to appear. Now that tells me this is a bloody good trick. That's what a business executive thinks at the end of this trick. And the other great thing about this trick is if you are like me, you wear jeans a lot of the time, you've got this marvellous little pocket here, and the way you want to start is like that, one dot there and the blank on top there. Look, you put those in there like that, and you're always ready to go. They're down there, and you just reach in, take them out, and they're all set. It's easy, easy. Here is my third and final challenge for this lecture. We've all got magic. We've all got the ability to share what we do, even if we're not very good at it, even if we're just starting out. What you need to do is, rather than actually practice a trick and put it back in the drawer and go, I'll practice that some more tomorrow, take it with you and practice it some more in the real world in front of people. If you screw up, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. The only way you are going to get better is by doing it wrong. There's a very famous basketball player, Magic Johnson. Is that his name? Did I get it right? Yeah, basketball player. And in his autobiography, he is known as like being one of the best ever. In his autobiography, he says, I became the best by missing. I've had to miss the basket more times than anyone else. And that's what he's done. His whole career, he's missed that basket. But he's hit the basket more time than anyone else because he's gone for the basket more times than anyone else. And the more times he tries to hit the basket, the more accurate and the better he gets. And he's doing that in front of thousands of people. Yet sometimes we're a bit scared to perform a trick to one person. What I want to encourage you to do is just try it. Just take something that you haven't done, and rather than just putting it back in the drawer, take it with you, take it out into the real world. When you're in the gas station paying for your petrol, when you're in the shop buying your Twix, do it. Share what we have. Because what we have is something wonderful. And what we have is something that needs to be shared. Thanks very much for your kind attention. I know Quentin can stand still for about 20 seconds, but I can't. Listen, I've got a couple of things for sale afterwards. If any of you are interested, I'd love to talk to you. I do have an occasional mail list, which my wonderful wife who's here, the mother of 2 of my 3 children, it's complicated. She's always bullying me and saying that I should send out. How many of you are on my mail list? I apologise for not writing to you recently, but I promise you I will not bombard you, but I do try and send out motivational messages every so often to encourage us to be better, and little tricks and tips that we can all learn. So all you have to do is go to the website, keithfieldsmagic.com, and there's a place you can sign up on there. I've got a few things for sale. I've got the paddles, if you're interested in those. I actually put that routine on a DVD to make it really easy to learn with 2 or 3 other of my favourite paddle tricks. I've got some of those over there. They're £15. It comes complete with the paddles and the full routine and the patter and everything else. I've got lecture notes. I've got some paper lecture notes. I've only got 4 or 5 of those left. They're £10. I've got some some CDs, which on the CD, which is kind of the best value thing, it's kind of a pack thing. It's not a DVD, but you have to put it in your computer. It's a data CD, so it's got the lecture notes. It's got my book, How to Handle Hecklers, which is a very good book about performance techniques. It's got 2 or 3 tricks on there, which are download tricks which you can make. It's actually got over $100 worth of stuff. I normally sell it in America for $40, but I don't want to take them home with me, so they're only £20 here, which is significantly less than they would be if you were in America. I've also got Running the Numbers, that book trick, which I showed you. They're £30. I've got the Magic Marker, which is £25, and I've got, I think, 2 human xylophones left, and they're £95 each. And once again, you've been an absolute joy. Thank you for welcoming me back. It's been 7 years. I hope it won't be that long, and I'll be back again very, very soon. Thank you very much.